Minions: The Rise of Gru is a movie that I had not seen, unlike all these other Minions movies. So at least this one was kind of fun because I'd never seen it, and I'll tell the story again just because I keep telling all these reviews, I guess. Despicable Me 3 was so bad that I vowed to never see a Minions or Illumination film in theaters ever again. And then I broke that promise, and now I'm reviewing all these movies, and I own them all on 4K Blu-ray. And I actually do plan to review eventually all the Illumination movies. I think I might actually do that on my second channel though, just because I feel like other than Minions, like do people really care to see me talk about the Sing movies or shit like that? I don't know. Let me know if that's something you really care about. And that's not going to be for a while because I genuinely didn't need a break from the shit. I hated these movies. Anyways, this one. This one I didn't hate as much as I thought I would. I didn't like it. It's not a good movie. I think this movie is better than the Minions movie, though it still has a lot of its problems. And the real reason is this is not a Minions movie. This is a young Gru movie. However, I don't know. Let's get it. Let's start with the positives of this movie before I just start shitting on it, like I do with all these movies, because they're all shit except for the first one. So yeah. Well, I guess the second one's not too bad. I'll leave the second one out of it. The second one's kind of like just mid. Um, the rest of them are shit. I think that where the first Minions movie kind of had like a lot of that 60s stuff in it, and it didn't really seem to have a point in that aspect to it. Here, the 70s style here, or not 70s style, but it being set in the 70s actually plays a lot more into the movie. Like, it has a really cool, like, James Bond 70s movie, like, spy intro. Cool. That's a unique thing. They played around with that, and it felt like, okay, well, yeah, this is a movie about this movie series about spies and villains, so it felt like a cool kind of parody. You got the Minions learning kung fu, and there's kind of some homages to like old kung fu action movies from the 70s. Things like that where they kind of play around with the 70s style a lot more, so it doesn't feel like a waste. And it also doesn't feel like, oh, these are a bunch of references that no kid watching this movie would get. Like, if you watch this movie, there's no adults that would get this stuff, but also like kids aren't gonna be confused with the story because the kung fu stuff is just Minions doing kung fu. The intro to reference to old spy movies. It's just a cool intro, whether you recognize that's what it is as a kid or not. So at least these things aren't like out of place, and they feel somewhat in the vein of what these types of movies are. And yeah, and then also, this movie had more of a story, and I think some of the expansions to the world of Despicable Me actually make a lot more sense in this movie than the others. Let me explain. So in this franchise, one of the biggest problems I would say is that in this world, you got like bad guys and supervillains and like all this stuff, right? Not problems, but one of the things like they do here that to expand the world is like, oh, there's a villain league, and it's like, okay, that makes sense because there's an anti-villain league, so they play around with that. There's fun stuff like that. Oh, Gru had a mentor and people that he kind of aspired to be like, and when he was growing up, it's like all stuff that makes sense and kind of adds to the franchise a little bit if you're like really into the Minions, I guess, in this franchise, because apparently there people are. I think those people really need to find good movies to watch, but hey, there's not that many good movies, I guess, in the world for you to watch, except there's a shit ton. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm really mean-spirited in this review, but like, let's get into the negatives. This movie is just another Minions movie, and at this point I'm so sick of this shit just by watching these movies. And really, I think my thing with this one that really bugged me is like, why is it so? It's like all these fucking like pandering references to the original Despicable Me. Guys, this movie is not even 20 years old yet. It's not even like 15 years old when this movie came out. So, like, you're already like nostalgia pandering to this movie, and I guess like there's probably is some kids that grew up with it, but like it just feels fucking irritating. Like some of the details don't even make sense. Like Vector's younger than Gru, but yet somehow they're kids at the same time. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. You know? Like there's just shit like that where like it's a reference, but who gives a shit? Because it's just lazy writing. It's just you throwing shit in your face. And like, remember that from the first movie? And really, like, it's just kind of annoying. And really, there's so much like nonsense in this movie. It just feels like this movie it has goals that it wants to. This is a movie where the characters have goals or things they're trying to achieve. Kind of like in the first movie, like where the minions wanted to find a new master. That was their goal. But then just halfway through, that kind of got dropped. It feels like that again. Only this one feels like it should have been like a Despicable Me show with young Gru and minions going on shenanigans. If this was that and not a theatrical movie, cool. I'm fine with that. But because it is a 1 hour 30-minute movie, fuck this shit, man. Like, if you don't have enough story to make a movie, then don't fucking make a movie. I know I get these Minions things make $1 billion. That's why they keep doing them. But then get better people to write them. How do you have like, I said this about the third one. How do you have like a franchise about like villains and spies and all this shit and run out of ideas so quickly that you're already nostalgia pandering and you're doing the twin brother plot line in the third movie? It just feels like, why are you fucking running out of the ideas this quickly? There's literally infinite possibilities with this Minions franchise. Like, this is one of those franchises where I'm like, I don't feel like insulted that they keep making more, because I'm like, well, yeah, of course they would. There's infinite possibilities. But with every new installment, they get a little worse, and then they don't really do anything. Even though there's a lot to do with this franchise. It's fucking spies and villains. Again, you know how many James Bond movies there are? How many James Bond books there are? You know how many Jason Bourne movies? I know that's kind of a little bit different, but it's kind of in the same genre, I guess. There's a lot of these fucking things that you could do with this franchise, but instead all these fucking movies are like, alright, we're gonna do the Minions doing their bullshit, and the who really gives a shit how the story works and what happens in it. We can kind of just throw anything at the screen and some fucking ass family will sit in the theater and go, hey, minions fart in the poop. Or whatever the fuck they do. And just butts. It's just like, okay, like, yeah, but fuck this shit, man. I know general audiences will never learn with this franchise. They genuinely won't. Right? We're not going to get any better movies out of this franchise. Even though Illumination has been kind of doing better, but I think Minions is just going to be one of those constants where they keep making them because they got to do it and the money and all that. But where I just get frustrated by this shit is they keep making more, and they're so lazy when they genuinely don't have to be. There are so many ideas to do with this franchise, and just do them. Also, make a Minions TV show, honestly. Just stop making Minions movie. Do it as a show on fucking Peacock or some shit, and then do the mainline Despicable Me movies and just make them better. Can we just do that? If you're always gonna make $1 billion anyways, can't you guys like afford to spend a little bit more on the writing or something just to make these movies like not fucking ass? It's too much to ask for. It's too much to ask for. I don't know, guys. I really didn't expect to get this angry watching this, because it's not. I actually didn't feel that angry watching this movie. Like, I genuinely didn't. But just really thinking about it after watching it, I'm just like, fuck this shit, man. I'm excited to not review these shitty ass movies anymore. Fuck Minions. I do. Oh, one more positive I do want to mention, I guess, before I go. Um, I did enjoy the relationship with Gru and his mentor, dude. I thought they had an interesting dynamic and stuff, and that was kind of cool, I guess. If that had been more of the focus of the movie, cool, but it wasn't that, and it sucked. So, fuck that.